This will be a little different type of video than what I usually post. Up to now, the majority of the videos that I've been posting are about fruit trees that I have growing in my backyard orchard. I usually don't grow a whole lot of herbs and vegetables other than tomatoes, a few peppers. Last season I grew some watermelon and butternut squash. They were planted late in the season, but I still managed to get a good harvest off of each of them. I particularly like the flavor of the butternut squash, which has a fairly long shelf life and can be easily stored. So I decided to grow them again, and I decided to expand my herb and vegetable garden to include some basil, cilantro, lettuce, onion, peas, peppers, melons, and a few more. I'm also going to be planting some tomato plants. In the past, I usually just grew a couple of tomatoes. However, this season, I'll be planting around 14. I'm just starting to get into canning, and I recently found some good recipes for pizza sauce, spaghetti, ketchup, and a few other canning recipes. So hopefully I'll get a big enough harvest on my tomatoes so I can start canning some of them. So in this video, I thought I would walk around and show you the plants that I've added to my backyard orchard. I'd like to start with these tomato plants here. All the tomato plants in these two planters here are trained to grow on a trellis system. The three on the left are San Marzano plants, and the two on the far left were purchased from a big box store. The other smaller one on the end, on the right, that one was grown from seed a few weeks after purchasing the other two. And these plants here, there's 4 Roma tomato plants in here. These were all grown from seed. The 2 on the left, those were started first, and then the others were started a few weeks apart. All of them seem to be doing well. These 2 that had a head start on the rest were the first to start developing tomatoes. There's a few of them on the plant that are just starting to put on a decent size. Here's one bunch. There's another smaller bunch here. And there's some flowers that have developed on there as well. And I also have these other 2 San Marzano plants, which were planted in early March. Both of these were started from seed. I'd like to train these to be fanned out on these wire corner fences, which are just square tomato cages split into 2 pieces. And over here, I planted 2 more tomato plants. The one on the left is a big boy, and the one on the right is a super sweet variety. I've never grown either of these before. Both were also started from seed and were planted in mid-May. And here I have 2 San Marzano and 1 super sweet tomato plant. The ones on the end, the one on the left is a San Marzano and the one on the right is a super sweet variety. Those were planted 2 weeks ago. And the one in the center is another San Marzano, which was just transplanted a few days ago. All of these were grown from seed. And here along this area, I have 3 zucchini plants. The one on the left, this one here, this one is a dark green zucchini, which is just starting to set its first zucchini. It's at the early stages of development, but it looks like the fruit's set. And these other 2 here are green tiger zucchinis, which have their first zucchinis that are ready for harvest. You can see there, this one here is fairly good size. The other one's about close to being the same size. It's just slightly smaller, but it's also ready for harvest. And all of these zucchini plants were started from seed, and they were planted along this section in late April. And over here along this row of stone fruit trees, I have some strawberry plants that are planted inside these boxes in the base here. I'll list the varieties on the screen. They were planted in early April and are just now starting to produce some strawberry flowers. There's 3 raised box sections in this area, and each section has 4 plants in it. And over on this other side, over here, I have I believe this is a sequoia strawberry plant. This one was planted here last year, and it's starting to produce again. This one produces some medium-sized strawberries that are pretty good tasting, sweet flavor. Unfortunately, the slugs have got to the majority of these, so I haven't been able to harvest too many. And over here in this area, I have some pea plants that I grew from seed. Originally there were 6 that were planted here back in late March, but only these are left here. The slugs got to these as well. They chewed off most of the base of the stem and killed off several of them. And there's 2 that I'm pretty sure are going to make it. The third one I'm not too sure about. This one here, it was severely damaged. Don't know if that one's going to make it. This one here is doing well, and the one on the end should also make it. And here are my pepper plants. I have them numbered in order to identify them. and I'll list the variety that corresponds to each number on the screen as I move along. With the exception of this poblano and this Thai pepper plant and this one here also, there's a bell pepper, and this one as well, which I'm not exactly sure what variety that is. Those were purchased from a big box store, but the rest were all grown from seed, starting with this jalapeno plant here that the slugs got to. This is all they left on it. The rest have a little bit of slug damage, but they're doing pretty good. I'm hoping they'll survive. There's a lot of slugs in this area, so hopefully they'll make it. But I do have some backup plants for all of these that I've yet to transplant, so if the slugs take out any of these, I do have a backup plant to replace it. And over in this area, I have some summer butterstick squash plants and a pickling cucumber. Those two that are on the left are the summer butterstick squash, and here on the end, the far end there, is a third one, the smaller plant. And this one here is the pickling cucumber. All of these plants will be trained to grow vertically up along this pea trellis. And over here, this area where I have these large tower cages, I have 2 melons growing on where each of these towers are. These two here are orange honeydew plants. The variety is honey rock, and these are 2 ambrosia cantaloupes. The plan is to get all of these to grow vertically up along these cages. I've never tried growing them in this manner, so I'm hoping it'll be a success. And here along this section, I have some more melons growing. These two on the end that are planted in the ground, I believe are honey rock honeydew melons. And the one that's on the far left there, that one I believe is a gold on gold watermelon. I also have some strawberries growing in a small grow bag. I'd like to train all these melons to grow vertically up along this fence here. Plan on using some type of bar to build a trellis along here and train them to grow up along and cover this whole fence area. I'll post a video as soon as I complete that project. I still have a little time to build it. The plants are still fairly young, so I should start on it in about another couple of weeks or so. But I'll keep you posted on that project. And over here in this last section, I have a volunteer onion that is getting ready to go to seed. And here, these two are little gem romaine lettuce, and next to the lettuce is a golden acre cabbage. I still have a lot of work to do in this section here, but that'll have to wait for another video. I do need to start on the trellis soon though, which I'm hoping to get done within another week or two. Well, that will be it for now. I hope you enjoyed watching. If so, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing so you can follow along. I'll be posting regular updates on all my vegetables as well as my fruit trees. So be sure to subscribe so you can see some of the fruit and vegetables that I will hopefully be harvesting soon. And don't forget to click on the notification button so that you don't miss a video. As always, stay safe, grow your own, and thank you for watching.